Alright guys, welcome back. I have played in another finals of a Challenger Cup, but unfortunately was beat by Voice's Voice, and this is what I'm going to show you today here. I also wanted to make another video because on the day of the release of the Voice's Voice pack, I also played a Challenger Cup that a lot of you basically watched live, where I reached the top 4, but then lost against Matteo here. This is something I also wanted to show you, but then the next day I was playing another Challenger Cup, reaching finals against Careful Guy, which was playing Voice's Voice, and I figured this would be a nice one to watch here because Voice's Voice as the new deck. I just wanted to show you that this is actually a strong deck. He is playing this with Horus cards, which you can obviously use to go into something like the number 90 Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. Very nice having an additional monster negate. I personally don't think that this is like an optimal version, but you can definitely go for this. I like the Bestials here. Normally you're playing Magnamut, but you can obviously also play a Druisworm because the Magnamut can search the Zafira Dragon Queen, but can then also search a Druisworm if you would need this additional interruption. So this is a deck list you can go ahead and copy from Careful Guy. Greets to the guy if he's watching the video, but let's see how this all went on here. So unfortunately we had some not optimal hands. I put in a lot of Bestials because we were obviously able to see what our opponent plays, so a lot of Bestials that I never draw. And this is something, if you want to counter Voice's Voice, if you're not sure how to counter the deck, you can go ahead in the top right corner. There's a video where I explain this, but long story short, Bestials are very effective, which is why I put them in here. I have a nice hand for going first, but then again not the greatest hand for going second, but we have some plays to do here next turn, and we can see he also has a Blessing of the Voice's Voice, a low, so he basically has plays, one infinite impermanence, actually not, because he could have negated this, but two infinite impermanences or maybe an effect value would have been enough to stop this. But let's see how this develops. It's a very good hand if it goes through. He just goes Blessing, doesn't really matter at this point. We go low and then sets the barrier, grabbing the Zafira. Also, if you're not aware of how to play this deck, you can go check out my combo guide. It's also up on the channel. If you like my videos, by the way, please consider subscribing, hitting a thumbs up and the notification bell. This would mean a lot to me. Then you go Zafira, dump the ritual spell, and also grab the boss monster to the hand that you can now use the Zafira to ritual summon here using the low. And if you're not aware, the low will come back if used for the ritual summon of a monster. Low comes back and he can also search. Searching in this case another low. Very interesting, because we will see in a moment why this is the case, why he decided to do it like this. Very good play here. He summons the low, and now he can trigger a Blessing of the Voice's Voice. If a non-ritual monster is normal or special summoned, we can once again ritual summon, and this is why he grabbed another low, so he has material for his Sour Abyss. Let's see how this all works out. He goes for a Sour Abyss, which is very nice, and there was something I for some reason was missing that kind of bites me here when it comes to my turn. He adds back his Zafira for follow-up, a very good card. The Blessing of the Voice's Voice, very good for grinding. So my thing was that I wanted to just get rid of this interruption here, so I was like, okay, going Snacker Ash normal summon will probably draw out this interruption, and then I have to somehow get rid of this interruption, and then I'm basically through. And as you can see right here, with my hand I have a lot of options. I can go Snaker Ash, I have a 1-for-1, I have a Diabelza, so basically 3 options that I can use here. We are going Snaker Ash, he just uses his Skull Guardian, very nice. This is what I was planning on achieving. Could have argued for also starting maybe with a Diabelza and then getting rid of one of these negates here, or these interruptions. He gets destroyed, and I'm continuing with the 1-for-1, getting rid of the Poplar, summoning the Oak, in this case deciding not to put the Poplar. I will put the Poplar in the spell trap and then grab the Snake Eye Ash here. Obviously, this cannot be interacted by Sour Abyss. If you're not aware, this thing can negate inherent special summons, which would be like a Diabelza or a special summon from the extra deck. I put the Snake Eye Poplar here and grab the Ash, and then try to go for the Flamebush Dragon just to create more bodies, get more bodies on the field. We are getting Ashed here, but fortunately I have either the Called By or the Crossout, deciding to keep the Crossout if I should encounter a Nibiru, because I can definitely not play into Nibiru, which is why I wanted additional security via this Crossout designator. Then we are grabbing the Snake Eyes from Birch Dragon. One unfortunate thing here is that the combination of the barrier, the light ritual monster, either this or this, and the low basically says that I can't target any of these, so I can't just place this Sour Abyss in the spell trap, which would have been great and definitely would have won me the game on the spot here. So at this point I had a quick thinking mistake, because I obviously still have to get rid of this Sour Abyss, and for some reason I was like, okay, I will just do a Nightmare Phoenix and get rid of this barrier of the Voiceless Voice, thereby getting rid of this targeting protection. Then I would go for Promethean Princess, get my Flame Birch back, and then put this in the Spell Trap zone. And I should have used my Dear Bellstar just to maybe bait out this Sarah Avis here, but instead I went for a Nightmare Phoenix, which costs me 2 bodies here, right? Because I invested 2 bodies for this Nightmare Phoenix, and he obviously, because this is a summon from the extra deck, can negate it. The funny thing is that this comes back to the hand, and this is not once per turn. As we will see in a moment, this will be a problem. I'm Flame Bulging back my bodies here, very nice, obviously. And now, and I kind of didn't thought of this, because for some reason I wasn't aware that this is not once per turn, because this is an old card. Blessing of the Voiceless Voice, if a non-ritual monster is normal or specialty, can now ritual summon. So with his Duamutev, he ritual summons for the Sour Avis, and then he can also trigger the low to get back from the graveyard, also setting the trap that can at this point destroy 2 cards on the field. And at this point it's basically game. I go into a Lingoribo, but it doesn't matter. I go into an SP, it doesn't matter. I don't have enough to go through this. He just negates this, obviously. At this point it does not matter, as I already said. We are going Dear Bellstar the Black Witch, but he still has this one interruption where he can just destroy my Dear Bellstar or the OSS. Also, even if I could have used this OSS or Dear Bellstar, I guess there was the Ponix. The Ponix, I could have done something, but I wouldn't been able to break this board. So if Voiceless Voice can establish a big board, then it's very hard to break them. It's a very strong board. The second game we're actually playing against a Kashtira variant, because he was thinking I would switch up my deck. This is why he also put in Bystials in here. He also has Snatch Steals in here, which I saw before. And if you see a Snatch Steal, then don't make an Appaloosa, because otherwise you will get into big problems. So let's see this matchup, and then we will see the third one where I once again played against Voiceless Voice. But yeah, let's see this Kashtira on. We are going first and decided in crazy cards like Skill Rain or Anti-Spell and Solemn Judgments, because obviously I knew that I was going first. We have like 2 plays here, Poplar and 1/1. We go for the Poplar, which at this point will get the Gamma out. This is okay, because I still have my 1/1. So we are getting Gamma here. And now I'm going for the 1/1, deciding to get rid of my Effect Veiler. I decide to not put in the Poplar and the Spell Trap, because I want to use Oak to get it back here. Keeping the Ash, because the Ash is more effective than an Effect Veiler. We are going the basic Poplar line, going into a Lingoribo, resetting the Poplar. I have to divert a bit from this line, because I need to go through an additional Ash and an additional Poplar, so I can send away this Lingoribo here. Because the Alpine Masquerina that I want to make right here can't be made with Link monsters, which is why I needed to do this additional step. Now you're going to an IP Masquerina, and then you use the bodies from the Flame Birch Dragon, revive, to go into, you know, the drill Promethean Princess, which can then go ahead and get my Flame Birch Dragon back, which will then be used to set the IP Masquerina and the Spell Trap in a moment here. Now I have to get rid of the Promethean, going into Raging Phoenix. Normally you would go into the Ambler Whale. I just wanted to play around potential super polymerizations, which is why I went into a World Sea Dragon Zealantis, and then I go Flame Birch and set this in the Spell Trap here. So this plays around Super Poly better, because this is water, this is fire. And then what you would normally do with a Zealantis on the field on the end bot, you would activate him, then everything gets banished and everything comes back, so you can place your World Sea Dragon Zealantis in this middle monster zone. That means that if you then activate your Promethean Princess, you can place your princess besides this World Sea Dragon Zealantis, and then you are protected in the battle phase, because if the battle phase is declared, you can use World Sea Dragon Zealantis' fast effect to destroy 2 cards non-targeting. But the reason why I didn't do this here is because this card says during the end phase, banish the face-up monsters special summoned by this effect. And if I now activate my Zealantis, they get banished and then come back. They are no longer special summoned by this effect. So that means that they would stay on the field, and this is something I didn't want, which is why I just passed over here with the Skill Drain set, and they left the field. And then he is going to start with his Pressured Planet Ravesoft. Because I had the Skill Drain, I was very apt to use a lot of my interruptions very early on, so went for Masquerina here. Obviously he can now Fenrir. Isn't really a problem, because I can dodge this here with the activation of the Masquerina, making an SP Little Knight. Getting rid of this Kashtira Fenrir won't really matter, because he's already has the birth in hand, as we can see right here. But we are banishing this Fenrir, and the next thing he's going to do, get the birth, back the Fenrir, and now I can use my Promethean Princess on my Flame Birch, getting my Flame Birch bodies for follow-up. And yeah, destroying the Fenrir once again. Still have my skill drain, so I'm not really worried. Getting the Oak and the Poplar back. And note here that I now have made 4 summons, so Princess, 2 bodies, and the SP, which is why I do not summon this Poplar that I will add via this Oak here. I could summon the Poplar if I wanted to, but I get it to the hand and don't summon it, so I can't be Nibiru. He goes for his Diabellstar, which is okay. I decide to get the Diabellstar out of here so he can't battle over my SP, but also so that for his original Sinful Spoils, he will have to use either his Birth or his Pressure Planet Ravesoft. He decides to not go for that, uses his Kashtira Birth to send or to get the Diabellstar here, and then he attacks, and obviously can now use his original Sinful Spoils in a moment to potentially grab a Snake Eye Ash. Doesn't really matter, we have an Ash here, we also have the skill drain left, so he goes Memphis 2. The idea was actually good. I just Ash this and the game ends at this point because I have all the follow-up in the world. He also knows it, and we go to game 3. I put in a lot of Bystials for game 3, so let's see how this works out for me. We are playing once again against his Voices deck. He did make some changes. He put in some Solemn Judgment and Solemn Scolding. I guess he didn't have more judgments, that's why he made or put in some Scoldings here. And we can also see the Bystials are still in here, but the Horus monsters are not. So a bit of a like slimmer version of the deck that he played in the first game. But let's see how this final game here plays out and who wins this tournament. Overall, I guess, spoiler alert, you already know that I'm not winning, unfortunately. We are going second here. Don't you wonder, because I have to go second. We have 2 hand traps, actually. I put in a lot of hand traps. We have an Ash Blossom and a Moonlit Shield. That's not that bad. He has some stuff here. He basically has 3 things. So the Barrier, the Pre-Prep, and the Low, and we only have 2, and he also has a Call By, unfortunately. So the hand already tells you that it could be quite rough. So we are starting out with the pre-prep, and I'm ashing this because this gives him 2 cards, right? So he goes ahead and he lets this resolve. Yeah, that's right. The next thing he is going to do is activate his barrier, grabbing the Zafira like you basically always do. He activates Zafira and then grabs himself the boss monster. And at this point, I was like, okay, if he does not have a low in hand, note here, he has a low. If he doesn't have a low in hand, then I'm actually at a good point, because then I can Ghost Mourner the Skull Guardian, because with the Skull Guardian, if you don't have a low, you want to search your low and then normal summon your low, because normal summon is still available. And this could have ended his turn would there not be a Cold Boy, obviously, and a low. So he just ritual summons here. And yeah, at this point, I am deciding on using the Ghost Mourner here because, I won't be able to use it for anything else. Because after this, the Negate is live, he goes for a Cold By on the Mourner, which I think he didn't need to do, honestly. He could have just saved this up, because Cold By is also in the current format very strong against a lot of the graveyard decks like Jubel or the Fire deck. He grabs a Sour Harvest, which is also nice. This protects against targeting. Then he goes for his low and can once again make this setup work that we have seen last turn. Obviously, this time around, he will only be able to summon the Sour Harvest once, because he needs to do it on my turn. But still, a lot of interruptions and also a Scolding. If this is the only set card in your spell trap zone when a monster would be summoned, or a spell card trapped or monsters activated, pay 3,000 and negate the summon or activation. We have some starters here. We can go normal summon the Ulcanix and still have the Black Witch. We can also dodge something with the Kirin here. I'm deciding on starting with the Diabellstar Black Witch here, seeing what he has. I'm activating the effect and he negates it, destroying it. And at this point, you can basically see that I'm in a very bad position. I need to get this through, otherwise I can't do anything more. I go for Ulcanix, but he just kills my Ulcanix, destroys it, and now I'm at a point where I basically can't do anything. I can get like a Garunix here, and yeah, he ritual summons his Sour Harvest. I, for some reason, go for a Kirin here, can quickly basically make a fast forward here, because for some reason I'm still trying to accept the fact that I will lose this, but obviously with a Kirin alone I can't do anything. I destroy the Kirin, giving me like 1 destruction, destroy the Sour Harvest, and we pass over. And this is unfortunately the end, beaten by Voices Voice, but still able to reach the finals once again. Very, very nice. I hope this was interesting for you. Once again, the Voices Voice deck. If you want to copy it, let me know in the comments what you think of these tournament recaps. Thanks for being here, and we will see each other in the next one.